Hey everyone. So, I love whenever people do candid conversations on these very strange and unique genres of video. Some people might say they're low quality, but I just can't get enough of them if I'm being honest. Whenever people will usually have like old school gameplay footage and they talk about something that's meaningful to them. I know this is a thing that was done in the past. People would just have like kind of generic news content, but I really appreciate whenever people are giving their insight in life. To me, I just love it. Like, you get to hear some bit of wisdom distilled into this 15 to 30 minute, like, just excellent consolidation. Some better, some worse than others, but the concept remains and it has sincerity. Now, at the risk of sounding like a hypocrite, I wanted to talk about YouTube and labels. Primarily labels. It relates to YouTube. You're here on YouTube, so I think you'll find that interesting. But labels and how you present things is unbelievably important. So get this. I have, like all of us, I'm sure, watch YouTube. And occasionally I find a creator, a good video, and I think, oh, this is cool. The algorithm has recommended me something. I go through the motion. And I'll click their channel. And YouTube has gotten really bad at trying to find the specific things you want. So there's a creator on YouTube who does things related to woodworking. I am a woodworker. I make furniture and the like. So I was looking on my day off just to really dive deep into what some of the consummate woodworkers do. The most popular ones on YouTube, at least. And I found someone. I won't say who, because I like their stuff, but people can take things out of context. But I looked at this guy's YouTube channel, and anyone who does or is into woodworking probably knows this or has seen this. He does expensive things, and you look at these thumbnails, and the thumbnail will say something, or it'll show something like, this table cost more money than anything else. And it has like the text will say, do I regret building this? And I think to myself, okay, it's an expensive table. That's fine. That's interesting, I suppose. I imagine if you were going to watch a video about tables and you didn't care about woodworking or tables, it's pretty compelling. He spent a lot of money on this. Does he have regrets? Did something go wrong? It gives you a little bit of a story and a bit of worry and concern right out the gate. Again, this is totally fine, and anyone who does this is playing the game. But the problem is, if you just want to search someone's channel and say, which of these videos makes cabinets? I'm curious about making cabinets. Which one of these things are beginner to intermediate range? It's hard to know. So the only way to really know if a video is good is to just be aware of like the person and the quality that they make, which is why trust becomes so important nowadays, which is fine, but it's unbelievably valuable at this point. And the other thing is that it adds labor. It adds time. It wastes your damn time to have to look at these different videos now. You can't just look at someone's channel and say, I wonder what they're talking about here. Even in things, even in videos where someone is very specific about, let's say they're talking politics, they have a picture of someone and they'll say, this guy did this. It's done. He's through. It's over. With a goofy face or something. And then you watch it and the guy did something like in politics and you think, oh, that's not good. But nothing happens, right? The guy's still there. You see this all the time if you look at any sort of video relating to drama on YouTube or politics or anything relating to people and taking a dump on them, right? That's just how it is. Now, I hate this because you don't really even get to know what is happening anymore from those labels, right? Labels are important. Now a YouTube thumbnail, and we're going to get into other aspects of life because believe you me, this is by no means just only going to be stuck into the world of YouTube, but this is where it starts, okay? And we've all had this like done to us. We've all been affected by this because we're all on YouTube right now. Unless I put this somewhere else, which I don't think I will. You're on YouTube, so you can't even know what's up in a channel or if someone has quality, and that is ass. That is the worst. We don't want that. Now anyone who just learns how to do those kinds of thumbnails and deception will just put information out there that makes it look the same. I'm going to copy all the YouTube woodworkers who get 500,000 to 1,000,000 plus views and sell these really expensive things. Okay, so just make your AI generated version of that, and there you go. Damn. Now, like, how are you supposed to know what's in that thumbnail anymore? If you're like me and say, I just want to look for some interesting table designs, see what other people do. Again, seeking out the consummate professional. So that is unbelievably whack. I have to make that clear, okay? And yet, if you happen to be these YouTube channels, it's incredibly hard these days to succeed or get anything going. And that's not good. And I'm going to get into why that is, but this is the first step. A thumbnail is only there to entice. It's not meant to even inform about what it is. And we've all seen this, right? Now there are just AI generated videos of something that sounds normal, but these little images, a lot of people have that style. But you would realize real quick that the person who talks that way is always going to speak 100% correct because it is an AI generated piece of content. And here's the thing that nobody seems to understand. And it talks like that, right? It has that cadence, that sort of machine cadence. And maybe the script is partially AI written or partially not. Fair enough, I guess. That it's just we have new tools for how things are going to be made. So maybe using an AI generated voice isn't the end of the world, but there's something that seems disingenuous about the whole thing, right? That you write a script and have something AI generated. That's tolerable to a degree, but now it's just so hard to know what's going on, and you have minutes of needing to figure out what's up before anything else happens, before you're able to discern, is this something worth my time or not? So it's no longer just a glance of the thumbnail. Affordable tabletop. Table. At the picture of the table. How to make a table. Get my most expensive table. Everything is this crazy story wrapped in layers and layers and layers and layers of narrative. And it's just like writing. In writing, there are these very specific things you can do. If anyone out there watches One Piece, shout outs to my fellow One Piece fans. But one thing that show does is something happens and you're like, what's going to happen? Oh my gosh, these people are fighting, and like someone points a gun at someone's head and says, you're done. And then it cuts to someone else like having lunch or looking at his shoes, and they're like, this lunch, man, this lunch is really good. No, this lunch sucks. What'd you say, mouse head? My lunch sucks? Yeah, that's right. You're no cook. I'd beat you up real good because you're such a bad cook. And I'm just thinking, dude, that guy was about to get shot. and then it goes, right? That's just the writing tactics. And now you see it put into video form because they are like stories. And now people say, oh, I wasn't sure this wood would be able to work. But then I did the thing that makes the wood edges better. Okay, cool. Oh, I put a hole in my table. How am I going to get this to work? I don't know. But then I put the epoxy in that fills holes in the table, and then I had to sand it, and that was annoying. And like, again, I'm not even taking a dump on the people who do that, but sometimes I think it's okay to just be, all right, here's the process, here's the story, here's you making the thing and your thoughts on it. Yet, all these little interjections occur, all these deceptions, all this peacocking. Here's my good story, guys. I swear it's good. I'm not trying to jump around between 4 different subplots to try and make it more interesting or prolong the time or make more episodes or make a video or a podcast or whatever longer. No. This is all very relevant. And again, this is why I am such a fan of those general outlooks on how people are candid, where people are throwing out just their thoughts, even if it might not be the most concisely edited thing. even if they may repeat things. When someone goes through that and they give you that piece of wisdom in their life, I think, wow, that feels like the human connection. That's the digital version today of you gather around a campfire and you just like listen to stories about important stuff that people say. It's great. So that's why I lament this kind of loss. And it's fine. Like, I get it. If you don't do these things, you don't succeed. So, but when we think about all of these problems, we start to deceive ourselves, right? Because we're measuring ourselves, but we're intentionally putting ourselves out there in a way that doesn't make space. This has been the standard thing in social media. And yet, one more reason why I hate social media that I'm not even sure people really realize, or we just accept as normal now. When someone posts something, it's ideal. It's just a perfect window into their existence. You don't get to see all the other hard work that went behind it. And I suppose, me personally, as someone who does sometimes like to go out there and try to create something, I find myself more drawn to a tutorial when someone shows me the whole process of how they did a thing, and I can take that and learn from it. When you just have someone like putting together a 30-second short, I'm like, man, I'm sure we've all tried some tutorial, some video out there says this is what's happening. You then go and check your situation, or you're fixing like your car or whatever, and suddenly it's nowhere near like what you said, because you were kind of deceived, right? Something was edited out to make this guy maybe look more professional than he was, or he got caught up on something. So when you see someone's mistakes and flaws, that's another great sort of human thing, which is yet another reason why I love those candid videos. When you hear the mistakes when people make them, just the little things. And whenever you start to then value, well, how good are you at throwing those signals that you're good? You don't actually need to be good, by the way. You just need to be good at throwing out the signals to make people think you're good. Great. So you're measuring based on what you see rather than what's reasonable. Now, we have a term for this called peacocking. I'm sure plenty of people are aware of this, but in case you weren't, because unfortunately it took me a very long time to learn what terms like peacocking means. So peacocks, right? The dude peacocks are like, hey, look at my fancy tail. And the lady peacocks are like, damn, that guy must be doing pretty good. He's out here living life in this rough area, not getting eaten, and he has a tail? Bro must be absolutely cooked, or cooking, rather. I'm sorry. Cooked is bad, but cooking is good. That's the parlance. I'm up on it, all right? That little peacock. So yeah, man, that tail. I'm gonna go talk to that guy, see what's up with him. So all the other peacocks who didn't have the nice tails are like, oh, that guy, that sucks. He's getting all the lady peacocks. All the peacocks without nice tails just died. That's how it works. It's not like they just changed their tail. They can't. They're peacocks. So they died. And only the peacocks with the fancy tail remained. And then over time, now peacocks just have to deal with this burden of lugging around this massive tail and dying more often. So even in kind of the case of a peacock, it's like a problem. And you see this in nature occur a lot. You have to get so good at throwing out that signal that it actually makes you worse. Do you think that peacock, when something's trying to kill him, that he's better off holding a massive tail? That, like, the food he eats has to maintain that peacock tail? Damn. All right. It's not good. So, in the animal kingdom, though, it's a vague sign of success. But now we can just fake signals. Even in the world of the peacock, the lady peacock is like, well, he's doing well enough that he has a tail and is still alive, so that's just going to be the judgment. Nowadays, you could be doing great, but because you haven't thrown out the signals, the fake signals, it doesn't matter. And that's whack. It makes us ignore good things because we're too busy looking at how good are you at the signals, the fake signals? How good is your haircut? Does it matter if some girl has like a bit of a grungy haircut and is maybe a bit chubby? But she would be the type of chick who never leaves you, never cheats on you, doesn't even want to talk to other dudes, and you know, would just support you. Maybe she'd get her part-time job, support the family, whatever things you value. But unfortunately, her hair's a little scraggly because she never got taught, to take care of herself. And maybe she has too many snacks. I mean, I get it, right? I get why someone would want to avoid that. And inversely, a lady would say, "Oh, this guy, he's not tall enough. He doesn't have enough money. His fit, he looks whack. Whatever it is." These are all things that happen. Then suddenly, the fellas go after the nice girl, the 10 out of 10 girl. The ladies look at the nice boy, and oh, well, these boys suck. I chose the 10 out of 10 dude, and he still treated me like garbage. Dang, I went with the prettiest chick, and she just dumped on me. She's crazy, bro. All these things happen because we are pursuing the signals, the stimulation that makes us feel like we're making the right choice. Because finding depth is hard, and fake signals are easy. Here's the things that you check. Are they there or are they not? Nope, they're not. Okay, move on. Doesn't matter that that dude would die for you. Doesn't matter that that dude would stay forever with you. Doesn't matter that that dude would be the best lay you ever had because he wants to make sure that you feel beloved. Doesn't matter. Because we don't have all the signals. Now, on the note of ignoring good things, okay, I have a great example in my life of something that happened. So I have a friend. We listen to music sometimes. He throws a song my way. I throw a song his way. Sometimes he finds an album and we talk about music and we're chilling out, we're vibing. And I sent him a song. And I thought to myself as I was listening to this beat, I thought, this is his kind of thing. He likes this sort of slow build-up and trance. If you care, the song is called Super Cooled Girl from Granado Espada. If you care, okay? I sent this. Now, he didn't listen to it, right? We talked a little later, and I'm like, did you listen to that song? And he said, oh, yeah, I looked at it. It was okay, I remember, but I don't know. I didn't really listen to it too much. And we were just having one of our let's listen to music kind of moments together, chilling out. Some light conversation while listening to jams. Good times, right? And I'm like, oh, put it on, man. I think you'd like it. I'm kind of surprised. He's like, oh, okay. So he puts it on. And he's listening, and it's a slow beat, right? It's a trance song. It doesn't kick up fast. And he tends to like that, but sometimes a bad trance song will just stay slow and boring. So I could see why you might listen to one and have a hard time appreciating it, okay? But he listened to it, and he's like, dang, this is some good stuff here, right? And I'm like, yeah, I thought you'd like it. I'm kind of surprised. And he's like, oh, man, I didn't give this one a good chance. And to put the shoe on the other foot, he also sent me a song, okay? If you care, it's called Call to Multiply from Doll's Nest. This is before I played Doll's Nest. Cool game. He threw this jam my way, and I listened to it, and I was just thinking, this is kind of cool. It's pretty weird and unique, but I didn't really appreciate it and let it build up. I thought, I'll listen to it, I'll have it in the background, but I think I was looking at some other things. I wasn't giving it my full attention. And don't some of these traits sound familiar? Are you maybe doing things where you're not giving things like your full attention? You're kind of surfing around, you're multitasking? Yeah, I bet you are. That's fine. But I ended up listening to the song again later on, and I thought, damn, this is a good jam. I love the impression it gives. It's a very unique song. Again, for us, maybe you don't like these songs. That's cool. You think they're whack. But I ended up liking Call to Multiply. And he ended up liking Super Cooled Girl. And it's just funny because it was just a matter of the context for which we experience things. There's a whole study, I think, in sociology about how you experience things as a group differently versus how you experience things individually by yourself. And a lot of times, you might not laugh very much at something, but if another person is there and they make you laugh, some part of you just wants to laugh louder. And people who don't do that are kind of weird, right? You're like, well, that was a pretty funny joke, and everyone else laughed but one person. You're like, oh, maybe I should just laugh to be polite, or anyway. There's a whole study of how that works, right? So there is a bit of that going on. But at the same time, what I think happened is that based on earlier, you know how you have to hunt through music? Like, so if you have a bro who's over here listening to like a couple of different new jams as like a hobby every so often, he's cruising through the sea of information that is the internet and goes across 10 songs. He listens to a song, it's like a 4 minute song. Okay, I'll let it build up for like 5, 10. Oh, it's a slow build up. Let me tap, forward by 5 seconds. And when you tap that forward, okay, oh, it just developed. Okay, let me hear it. Oh, this is kind of lame. That's pretty basic. Where's it gonna go? Where's it gonna go? Skip, skip, skip. Okay, where's like the change? Because it's just kind of like it's kind of going in the same area. I'm not that interested. Oh, there it is. Okay, let me go back. Let me hear that. Oh, nice. That was a cool transition. All right. You've only listened to this song for maybe 20 or 30 seconds, but you're at 2 minutes and 30 seconds out of a 4 minute video. So you've effectively skipped 2 minutes of this song and you've only heard 30 seconds. That's like fine because you kind of have to do that, right? Based on what we were saying earlier with YouTube videos. Don't you ever just watch something and think, this is something I want to learn about. I've clicked through a few videos and haven't found something. Is this AI generated? I can't tell. Is this just low quality? Is this just a new creator? Damn. Let me just skip ahead. What's he talking about? Okay, he's talking about here tools. Oh, this seems fake. This seems AI. Get this out of here. You spent like a minute and you're like 5 or 10 minutes through the video, tapping advanced by 5 seconds or advanced by 10 seconds. You put the video on 2 times speed because you want to get through it because you're tired of just getting slopped on, I just want to watch this. Like, come on, I just need the information so I can make a decision. Like you're trying to fix something or you're trying to buy a tool or you're trying to, get like something for scrubbing walls and you're looking at these different like cleaners and potential options or chemicals and you're just trying to get a product or something. Or, you're just trying to find a good song. You don't want to just have some lame song that's whack or AI generated. So we ignore those things. We're now in that state of hunting. And can you imagine that state of like constant vigilance? Like I see it with my boys when we're hanging out with people. There's a big difference I've noticed between people who are constantly online, who kind of grew up in that same, I guess you'd call it like the gaming culture now. It's a bit different now than when I was younger, but that same sphere of like dudes online playing lots of games. That used to not really be normal. Now it's much more common. But anyway, we have that, and I've seen a lot of people in that sphere. Now they're going to be paying attention to a lot of things while they talk to you. Now they, it's just there isn't as much depth, there isn't as much consideration because we're sort of programmed to be in that constant state of hunting and looking for things. When you're browsing through whatever feed on the internet it is, you have to get through the BS. You got to sort, you got to hunt, you got to pick. If I get through like 10 videos, maybe one of them will be a great channel that uploads, once every couple of months and I can watch that. And that'll be the quality that I go with. There's an option there for sure. But in that state of hunting and saving time, you're no longer appreciating. And good things can slip under your radar just because they don't. Guess what? Follow the deception in the signals. It's about dropping good fake signals about what's up rather than something good. And guess what? Sometimes things are really good without being beautiful or amazing or just immediately interesting in the music. Music used to, okay, not all music, I'm not trying to be boomer on you here, but some songs will have a slower build-up and can still be fun and appreciated, like trance. I feel like you don't see as much trance these days, but whatever. I think it's sad that we've lost that. Someone could, we hear people say this all the time. Oh, I'm very shy when we start talking, but once we get to know each other, I open up like too much. Like some people advertise that about themselves. Whether that's good or not is up to you, and it's kind of dependent on the person and what they are. But the point is, we should be able to appreciate things, and yet we're sort of being attacked by things that force us to not appreciate in that state of hunting and saving time. So yeah, I don't throw any shade at my buddy. As well, I don't necessarily throw shade at myself and say, oh, damn, I really put him on blast when he sent me that cool song. It's fun. it's fun to kind of notice this. And I tell myself, actually, man, you should really be more conscious of stuff. But then other times, people will post videos where I'm like, this isn't like cool, this isn't fun, and that makes me not appreciate that. Like the humor isn't to what I think. The humor isn't something that resonates with me, or I think it's really low quality. And other people will say, "Oh, this is so hilarious," like brain rot. But I'm just not really about that personally. So I have no doubt that some people have posted things that are good, but because it tends to be, they're a little more liberal with what they say or post, I might not like check those things. So we got to try to appreciate things, and yet we have to protect ourselves. So that's a nice nothing burger of a statement. Just try to find good flows of information, and when you can, give them time. Don't treat everything in your life like you're in that state of hunting and saving time to be more productive. Okay. I don't like this because the world becoming more about this fake signal. Before anything happens, you now have to drop fake signals. I hate it, dude. It just ruins everything about our judgment. Because when, let's say you're looking for that 10 out of 10 younger chick, no kids, or for the ladies, you're looking for that dude. Oh, he's got to be nice and tall. He's got to have the money. He's got to have a good fit and a good look, right? And he has to know how to talk, treat you, and have that charisma, right? That confidence. And you then we go for these ideal sorts because they have those signals, only to realize, looks like my mic died there for a sec. Anyway, we go for those ideal sorts, and then we ultimately realize, well, the signals were there that made me kind of interested by default, but it turns out that didn't really produce the result I wanted in a lot of times. And this is just how the world is now, and it clouds our judgment because we might think, oh, damn, well, if you start to get too logical about this, you'll then just say, well, I shouldn't trust any dudes that are good, or, oh, I got a dude with all the best stats, and yet it was still whack. Or, oh, I got this chick, and this was so much fun, but she's whack. Oh, I better not trust like anyone who looks pretty or has these traits. Because we as humans love to think as pattern, seeking machines. Oh, well, this thing happened here, and now I see this thing in another place, so that must be bad, right? And then we get into like a bunch of weird people and weird perceptions online about what exists. And everything just becomes layer after layer of being obfuscated because we now just throw out a bunch of fake signals that we try to get meaning out of. And it isn't until you either get older or get told some of the truth about how people are and preferences and ideas and what makes things work for you and what tends to make things work for other people on average, only to then realize that someone's an exception and that like you have to work through things and see what's up. Now, this is all just a really complicated way of saying that labels are important. And now, to summarize it all, labels are important. That sort of deception in the YouTube thumbnail realm, even when you're watching a video where you're not sure what you're getting, it's there to be a story. And if you're looking for something specific, it's kind of hard to find that now. Now you just have to sort of stumble across it. Like, oh, you like woodworking? Well, guess what? There's so many different types of woodworking. Oh, you like tech? There's so many different types of tech. Is this just the fun I'm trying quirky stuff tech? Or is this the kind of tech where you're looking at hardcore reviews? And how do you even know now when you have literal YouTube channels called Top 10 List Customer Support Trust? Is this like an actual thing you can trust? Probably not. Or maybe it's just someone playing the signal game well. Maybe this is an actual person who does crazy hardcore in-depth tech reviews. And they just realize, well, let's cut to the chase. Let's just say top 10 tech channel reviews, top 10 list, because that's what we are passionate about, is actually getting good products out. Or maybe it's just another AI slop generated channel that just shows vague product features in a video and then talks about like whatever the advertisement says, right? Whatever the marketing says in the blurb that you'd read, which I think tends to be the case, unfortunately. So that sucks. We don't want to do that. These deceptive signals in YouTube are whack. Self-peacocking, meaning we're measuring just on what we see rather than what's reasonable. We're not like peacocks. This doesn't really matter. Fake signals matter too much. It makes us ignore good things like skipping music that you think is good because it puts you in the state of hunting rather than saving time, or with saving time rather than appreciating. And yet we have to protect ourselves. And these fake signals in the world ultimately produce, unfortunately, a flawed sense of judgment. We think this thing is happening, we see it, and that's not true because the fake signals are there. And it takes a while for people to even learn that these fake signals are here. Isn't it bizarre when you are trying to teach someone something and you have that weird human moment where you say, oh, well, that's just what we do. Well, why? Someone new comes in, it's just what we do. Why? Why are we... Why? Doesn't that like confuse people? Well, yeah, but that's just how it is. Like sometimes those things are there for a good reason. Other times they are deceptive and they just kind of they force you to understand the deception that's happening. And when you're just being forced to understand deception and fake signals that don't even always produce a meaningful result or even reliably mean anything at all, it's just lame. So that's my summarization of what's going on. And I hope you enjoyed this because I think this is going to be the first video I release out there that lets me put forth my ideas. I've kind of done a few other little versions, but I think this is my first one that seems interesting. Well, at least to me. As I said, I really love those kinds of videos where people put out a piece of wisdom that they kind of deciphered and share it with the world. So I have other philosophical quandaries I intend on going through at some point, but for now, I'm going to leave you in this sea of information that we all exist on, that we cruise through, that's being more and more populated and flooded by AI shenanigans, and it becomes harder to find the good pieces of things we want in this big ocean. But that all being said, hope you appreciated this. I think I'll try to do some others. This is fun. Take care, everyone.